Hi, welcome, and thanks for tuning in to the Sustained Success series today, hosted by Brainstorm. I'm Troy, and I'll be kicking us off today. If this is the first session you're joining, remember this is a 6-part series running weekly through mid-November. We have a stellar lineup of thought leaders in SaaS, customer success, customer education, and even voice of customer. Here at Brainstorm, we created the Sustained Success series to build a space for authentic, meaningful, and unsponsored dialogue around the most critical and current topics in customer success. Since this is the first run of this series, we're really excited to have you join us from the beginning. We're looking forward to continuing the series in the future, and we hope to have you along for the ride. Today's session, Microsoft CS Transformation, Unleashing Value in the New Economy, features Casey Trujillo, Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Brainstorm, hosting our special guest, Randi Parish, Director of Business Strategy Modern Work, CSU, at Microsoft. As Director of Business Strategy within Microsoft's Modern Work Customer Success organization, Randi Parish helps customers and partners take advantage of turning Microsoft Teams into a powerful platform for team collaboration and accelerate productivity, maximizing their modern work investments. During her tenure at Microsoft, Randi has enabled partners to develop and deploy solutions that empower customers of all sizes to achieve more, working across Microsoft's hosters, managed service providers, and strategic ISVs. In her free time, Randi enjoys travel, exploring the great PNW, and making time for brunch. We hope you enjoy today's session. Let's get started.
Well, Randi, I am so excited to have you here with me. There's so many questions I want to ask you, especially with the current state of Microsoft. As always, Microsoft is leading out, always changing things, always being a disruptor, always looking at something new. But today, if I was going to just ask yourself and other leaders at Microsoft, as you guys are looking to increase your retention, you have Copilot and trying to expand that out, what's usually the value prop that you're giving to your customers as maybe they're considering other vendors or maybe thinking, hey, we might do this ourselves? What's usually that pitch that you're giving people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really great question. You're absolutely right. We are changing. We always like to keep everyone on their toes. So evolution of our business and making sure you're all paying attention is key. But with that, when we think about Microsoft's products, we're built with partners, right? We made our success with partners, and that includes everything from our ISVs to GSIs like Accenture and Avanade, and even to the national and local, service providers as well that we have. I mean, this is the way that we build our business. We have to scale and we have to drive customer success and happiness and delight our customers through our partners' innovation and their investments. So with that, really taking the foundation of what Microsoft's platform looks like and the experience that we want to give our customers and sort of helping us evolve what that experience could look like. We always have gaps in our products. We always have gaps that we need our partners. We cannot make sure that we are always tending to every single customer scenario and need and business challenge that they have. And we need our partners to help us identify what those are and allow them the opportunity to monetize off of our platform and allow them the opportunity to build a solution that satisfies that customer's need. And that will obviously always continue. So I think as Microsoft continues to evolve, as we continue to develop on what our platform looks like, I think that those opportunities become far greater. I think that there always will be a continued investment in that opportunity that partners will have for us. So I'm really excited about the opportunity that Copilot is going to bring. I'm really excited about the opportunity that the Teams platform has brought for our customers today and for our partners.
That's one of the things I love about Microsoft is you announced out Copilot. You announced out 50 other partners that were already creating some type of Copilot integration. Like you're always saying, hey, let's bring more people to the table. Yeah. If we have some SaaS applications, some SaaS vendors that are on this webinar, and they're like, I haven't built out my ecosystem of partnership. Randi, I consider you a thought leader in this field in building out these partnerships and thinking about how to do that. What would be maybe one or two best practices you would give to maybe some of these SaaS vendors that haven't built out a partnership? Is there some recommendations you might give them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really great question, actually. I don't think sometimes isn't always thought about, like, how can I continue to expand what my customer reach looks like and what does my development opportunity? So I think that there's two key pieces to look at that. One, how do you create a successful reseller or referral business? How are you making sure that you are empowering and enabling other maybe licensing providers or distributors? How are you
Mm,
empowering them to be able to introduce their solution to their customer set, and how they're really helping customers fully realize the value of their investments on the Microsoft platform, and sort of helping those customers identify potential gaps and bringing in those solutions that could help them fill those gaps and solve those business challenges. So that's one. Having a super successful reseller and referral business is awesome. The second piece is around, what are you doing for your SIs? What are you doing
mm,
for systems integrators? How are you helping them understand the monetization opportunity on successfully deploying your application? What does that look like? How are you providing governance and security strategies for those SIs that they can help monetize what that looks like within their customers? So I think the second piece is, how are you guiding SIs to understand how they can build out centers of excellence around deploying your product? And that really kind of plugs into how they're thinking about their center of excellence when they're deploying Teams as a platform, and then all those things that bolt onto that experience. And that allows them to then have a more robust portfolio that they're bringing to their customers when they're thinking about, hey, what else do I need? What else can I use you for? I think that's really awesome. And it also allows them to then be super thoughtful around further practices that they can build out and offerings that they build out as well. So I think if you take Teams as a platform as an example, one, the SI's opportunity is going to be, okay, how do I help my customer deploy Teams as a platform? How do I help them drive usage and adoption? How do I help them build that out? The second piece is what are all the third-party applications and tool sets that I need to plug into that platform
mm.
that potentially the customer is already invested in that I need to pull into that experience, or potentially things that I think that they should invest in and pull into that experience? How do I help them deploy that application? Then how do I think about deploying governance and security strategies, change management, adoption? All of those things are extensions from that initial project. And I think that that's what SIs need to be thinking about as well.
Oh, so good. Randy, this is I think people won't believe me when I make this statement. But Microsoft is really good at working with all sizes of partners. And you in particular are fantastic at it, because I know that you've had me meet with some partners where I'm like, wait, they're just barely getting started. Like what is Randy seeing in this SaaS organization? And we're more established. They're not. Like, why are we meeting together? But you're always seeing a bigger picture. How does someone, if they wanted to meet with a Microsoft or some type of large SaaS application that's been there out there forever, how do they get in front of you? How do they get their foot in the door? What are some of the best practices you give also with that? Because you are always opening to listening to anyone. I know that about you. So what are the things that they should be saying and thinking about if they were going to approach a Microsoft or some other large organization?
Selfishly, and this is just speaking about me, I'm not saying that every Microsoft person likes to do this, so careful. But for me personally and selfishly, the more I understand where someone else found a gap in our business or an opportunity
Mm,
with our customers, the more I learn about our customers' needs, our customers' wants, and just how different people are coming around and thinking about how to monetize off of that opportunity. That just allows me an opportunity to continue to grow and learn and continue to be great at what I do. Like I love that opportunity for sure. So I think building out your network within Microsoft, understanding all the different roles and what I'm accountable for, and what they're accountable for, and speaking to that, I think is awesome. And building out that network can come into various forms. Fully understanding, dipping into your LinkedIn network, fully understanding if you are a managed partner or not a managed partner, continuing to network and expand. Well, who do you report to? What does that look like? What are your goals? How do I make you successful? That always speaks to a Microsoft employee, and I think that that's a really great way to do that. But truly, selfishly for me, and I think this could be said for a lot of Microsoft people, understanding what you do and how you operate and how you're filling and solving different business challenges is just going to make me a better employee and a better advocate for partners and my customers as well. So I will always be open to listening to that for sure.
and
Selfish,
I,
100% selfish.
well, that just for our audience, one of the things that Randy has been doing for a little bit of time is is looking at third-party applications that play well with teams and fit that business need and promoting them and helping them see that value both ways. And the thing that I've always noticed about you is if someone's saying, hey, I see this gap, I see where Microsoft maybe isn't performing, you're like, fantastic, I love to see that. And then you reverse that and also help that partner also say, hey, here's what you might be missing. Here, let me give you some advice on how you might approach it this way. And I think that's when you kind of know that synergy is there when you're building that ecosystem, when both people are thinking about the other. And it just seems like you're a pro at it, you're great at it, and that's something I've learned from you very well. So thank you very much. And again, I hope our audience listening today, that was an extreme masterclass in teaching how to partner right there with what you just gave. So thank you, Randy, around that.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think don't be shy. Definitely make sure that you're reaching out and understanding that entire ecosystem and that entire, chain of command within the organization that you're trying to, break into. Be fearless about it. Be ruthless about it. Making sure that you're knocking doors down and you are asking, what are your challenges? What do you need? How can I help make you successful? Hey, have you thought about it this way? I truly advocate for that. And I definitely, that would be my best advice.
Randy, thank you for that. So let's go into another topic, because I'm sure there's a bunch of people on this call that are saying, but wait, Microsoft, you're changing the way that you're doing customer success. Like you're repositioning people, you're putting them in different areas. You're not following this traditional model that everyone's following. What are you doing? Give us some insight into how Microsoft is approaching this. And I know you're not speaking for everyone at Microsoft, and your point, you're speaking from your point of view of what you're seeing. But what is this customer-led approach versus the Microsoft approach? Like I've heard you say some terms around that. Clarify for us. Help us understand what's kind of the thought process around this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest evolution that we went through in FY24 was really ensuring that we had the right services available through our unified support contracts that allow customers to transform in a thoughtful way, to ensure that they truly were maximizing on their investments, and we had the right services and offerings packaged up within their support contracts that led them to do that. We really saw a shift. I mean, we're really in a very different economic climate right now.
Yeah.
We're really in some difficult times for a lot of different organizations and industries and areas and regions, and figuring out how do we best navigate and support our customers through that. And with that is around, how do we make sure that they are investing in the Microsoft products? And then we are teaching and fostering every possible way to allow them to maximize on that investment. How do we make sure that they really are not just talking to IT, but making sure that each business process owner understands their companies and their organization's investments, and how are we speaking to them and helping them solve challenges with those investments? Do we have the right people in front of our customers to help them to do that? Do we actually have the right offerings that allow our customers to maximize their investment in their support contracts and make sure that we are helping them transform in the right way, in the way that's going to allow them to be set up for the latest and greatest and exciting technology like Copilot, like when we think about Azure AI? Are we setting up our customers for success? And that was the biggest change that we really had to look within, see what's successful, see where it is that we want to take our customers, and make sure that we actually had the right path for our customers to go down. So that was definitely the biggest change this year, which I'm excited about. I'm excited about.
Well, it's fascinating that this is one of 6 different sessions that we're running, and obviously this is the best session. We all know this, and we have you on this one, right? I mean, let's give it, right?
I've got a turtleneck. It's delightful.
But I've been lucky enough to do a couple of other hosting on these other webinars, and one was with Chris Dowse. He's the VP of Business Outcomes at Smartsheet, another great Microsoft partner that they have some great integrations and things like that. And one of the things that he said, I just want to double down on what you said. I just want to add another voice, another expert, because I'm not that. You two are.
Gotta validate me with someone else.
But his comment that he gives to his customer success team is within that first 90 to 180 days, you better help them realize 3 or 4 other opportunities that already are included in what they've bought. Don't try to upsell them. Don't try to get them to do something else. Just help them maximize what they already purchased. And it sounds like you're kind of saying that same thing with the unified contract is maybe Microsoft customers weren't maximizing that to their full ability. They were leaving some value on the table, and you're doubling down, making sure that, hey, where the customer is invested, we want to make sure they're recapping that.
Yeah,
Is that right?
absolutely. We want to make sure that we are, one, making sure that you're super successful on what the initial plan was before those products, and then creating almost a continuous loop of opportunity for ideation, integration, just continual development on that investment. And we want to make sure that we're taking you through that cycle continuously. We want to make sure that we've uncovered an opportunity. We helped you build out what that opportunity was going to look like based on your investments. We put it into practice. We helped you adopt it. And oh, by the way, now we've uncovered 3 or 4 more scenarios that now we can also go back and go through that whole same experience with you and continue to add value to your investments. And I think that that's an amazing opportunity for Microsoft, and I'm really excited about it. I know that sounds cliche, and maybe you think I'm getting paid to say that, but genuinely I am.
That's so good. Hey, peel back the curtain a little bit for us. When you guys are making big decisions like this, and it doesn't need to be around just this particular issue, it could be on anything in your Microsoft career. What is that like when Microsoft people are discussing, should we keep this? Should we change this? Should we modify this? Is it a lot of people just that are just really super smart, giving their best ideas? Are you looking at a ton of data? Like, how do you actually go through this thought process? I know that everybody is always wondering, what does somebody else do? And they always think that they're better at it. So peel back the curtain a little bit for us. How do you make those type of decisions as leaders?
Yeah, and it's everything, right? It goes into what are our sales telling us?
Mm,
Does our usage tell us? What
mm,
does consumption of different programs and investments? What does consumption and usage of specific assets that we're building? Where are we seeing an uptick in partner opportunity and capabilities? And all of that plays a part in how we make those adjustments and those changes for sure. So it's not just sales data, it's everything. It's marketing data. It's what are they viewing? What are they listening to? What are they investing in on the side as well? And then it's everything else that's going on within the market too. We take into consideration, when a customer is going through their earnings discussion, when they're talking about what their future investments are going to
mm.
be. All of those things play a part in how we're thinking about our business and how are we going to help them do that. So it's a lot of different factors, and I think you really have to take all of those things into consideration when you're either making changes or when you're thinking about how you're going to execute through your fiscal year.
So if we were to rank, and this is just for you personally, if I was coming to you and saying, hey, I think we need to change the way that we're running our CS unit, here's some ideas. If you were to rank your data points, like what's the most valuable? Is it user data or usage data, sales feedback, customer feedback? Like, give me your top three as
Yeah.
you're making decisions. What would be your top three? And I know this is just off the cuff question. We didn't plan for
Wow,
this one at all.
and for that, the results, I did not get to make notes about this, but
What would you consider your top three things that you're like, okay, I consider it from these lenses. I know all of them are important, but if you were just to rank them a little bit for me.
absolutely. If I were coming cold with this question here, if I were to rank them, number one would still be my sales data. I mean, I still need
Mm,
to understand who I'm actually selling to.
hmm,
And really understand it. Do you start to see some patterns within who's actually taking your product, like who's actually buying your products, and actually understand what potentially the differentiating needs of those customers could be. And it could be everything from segmentation. It could be based on area. Maybe I'm more successful in Germany than I am in New Zealand.
mm,
What does that look like to you? How do you approach that customer differently? Segmentation, is it enterprise? Is it mid-market? Is it SMB? What does that sales experience look like? And also too, just if you're starting to see an industry trend as well, do you start to see specific industries come up versus others? Because you will naturally start to have industry alignment without
fascinating.
necessarily having an industry message. You will start to see that some of those types of customers start to behave in a very similar way. The second piece of information I would definitely look at is your usage data. What does it look like from the first 30 days? What does it look like 60 days, 90 days out? What does that look like? If your customer is seamlessly purchasing your product and then automatically launching it and deploying it and using it, You have a very simplistic deployment experience. You have a super easy usage experience. You know that, okay, maybe I'm doing something right. But if it's taking 6 to 9 months for your customer to actually deploy your product and start to use it, sort of like, okay, how do I simplify that experience? How do I make sure that my customer is starting to realize value a little bit quicker after the investment of the product? The third one is going to be your renewal rate. What do your renewal rates and how are they renewing? Are they renewing with the same size as what their initial purchase was? Are they reducing it? Are they increasing it? What does that look like? Are they renewing? What type of incentives do you have to provide that customer in order to renew? So maybe it needs to be adjustment in what that experience looks like. Maybe it's a cost adjustment. All of those things should start to play a part. But I would think when you're looking at your renewal rates, and if your renewal rates and maybe the amount that they're renewing at is starting to decrease, it's like, okay, well, I'm obviously my application or my product is not applicable across the organization. What do I need to do from a customer success organization or a sales organization to ensure that I'm actually uncovering new scenarios and helping that customer understand how my product's going to help them solve that for them?
So it sounds like what we're doing here at Microsoft is we're saying, hey, we want to maximize what you've invested in. Do you feel at Microsoft maybe you threw too many resources at your customer and they weren't able to take advantage of all those things and you're trying to simplify that down? Or are you just resourcing the ones that you have and just putting them in a different area? I think the market's seen a little bit of mixed message in that. What did you feel? Did you feel you gave them too much, too little? Just you're trying to find that Goldilocks zone, just right? Like where are we at?
No, we never give our customers too much. We love our customers. We always want to make sure that we're investing in the right thing. I think it was just investing in the right journey. We wanted that and making sure that we have the right resources that can actually deliver that journey. So I think it was more around shifting those resources and what that experience was going to look like for the customer. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And if I'm a leader and I'm afraid to make that change, if I'm afraid to say maybe that, why change? Everything's going so well. I mean, I look at Microsoft, you guys are always doing so well. Like, what do you think made you feel that you needed to change that? Because you're always doing so great. Like, how do you do that? And what advice would you give to CS leadership that's on this call that are saying, man, we've been doing the same thing for 6 years. We still have growth every year. Like, why change? Is that a bad thing? Can I just stay the same? Like, what's some of your advice you would have on that?
I mean, you can absolutely stay the same if you would like to. That sounds great. I love comfort. But then I wouldn't be on my toes all the time. It would be, no, in all seriousness, I think you really need to be forward thinking about the journey that your customer is going to have to be on based on the investments you are going to make as an organization and where you're going to actually need to ensure that you are delighting that customer and that customer is truly maximizing on everything you want them to be doing. And you're also preparing them for all of those new enhancements and all of those new products and releases. And do you have the right pieces in place in order to ensure that that is successful? So I think it's very much so ensuring that what we had in place today was 100% taken advantage of, and did we have the right building blocks put into place to ensure that we had a really great customer experience as we start to release things like Copilot and Azure AI, and how are we readying the customers for that journey, and how are we going to support them on that journey? So really the change of the fiscal year was perfect timing for us. We make that adjustment. We knew that obviously we're going to have these great product releases. We needed to make sure that we could keep our foot on the gas pedal and we keep making sure that we're investing in the right ways and having you change with us. So yeah, I completely understand wanting to stay the same and really leaning in on comfort. I completely understand that for sure, but you have to make sure that it's the right thing for you as a company and right thing for your customers as well as you kind of continue to evolve.
Yeah, I listened to this recent podcast from a Dr. Hardy. He's an organizational change management guru, and he actually says it's easier to 10x your business or your outcomes than it is to 2x. But he's like, here's the challenge: is he goes to the 80-20 rule, and he says 20% of what you know today will get you to that 10x. 80% you need to go learn. Yeah. You need to go figure out.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing things like this, if you're not changing the way you're thinking, how do you get to that?
Yeah.
In the reverse, he says, if you're just trying to 2x, 80% of what you know already is going to help get you there. And then you got to go learn about 20%. He's like, that's why That's why it's a little bit harder sometimes for to 2X is because you don't know what that 20% is. 80%, that's a lot of stuff to go learn. And
Oh,
it's like, but you just got to put yourself out there. You got to go test that and change that. Now, in this next segment, I want to talk to you about, Randy, is around, and this might sound like we're doing an advertisement for Microsoft. We're not, but what we're trying to help you. Well, we might be a little bit. Let's be honest here. We might be a little bit, but as a customer success organization, as you talked about Teams and Teams as a platform and what Microsoft is doing and all these different aspects, I would just like you to talk a little bit about the opportunities that other SaaS applications that are listening today, that if they were to partner with Microsoft, what would some of those opportunities look like? 'Cause what I want everyone to picture is look how Microsoft's doing. Obviously, they're a leader in the marketplace. One, I hope you might discover some opportunities to team up with Microsoft. But at the same aspect, I'm hoping what people will learn from this is, gosh, you know what? Am I providing these opportunities for the people that I partner with? So would you mind talking a little bit about, the different types of ways in, Azure IP co-sell, you talked about the Copilot, you've talked about all sorts of different ways that people could possibly partner with Microsoft. What does that look like? What are the benefits to that? Help people understand that a little bit from that regard.
yeah, absolutely. And I sit within modern work, so not gonna lie, I'm not always the biggest expert when it comes to things like Azure IP Coastal, so I definitely don't want to misspeak here. But we always have new programs and investments that our partners can take advantage of to ensure that they're building the right applications on the right platforms that allow them opportunities to co-sell and co-activate with Microsoft. So I definitely, encourage everyone to really understand what we launched and announced, at Inspire at our partner conference, that you truly understand what's available through your MPN benefits, and making sure that you're maximizing on all of those things. But I think a couple of the really great opportunities that we have as an organization is the monetization opportunity that we're providing our partners when it comes to being able to sell on our marketplaces and our store.
Mm,
Well, when you think about where you want to invest your efforts, and a lot of the time it's about your product. If you're a SaaS provider, if you're an ISV, a lot of your investment and focus is going to be on, okay, do I have a really great product? Does it continue to evolve and adapt to customer needs? That's probably going to be first and foremost most to you. And how are you going to continue to surface up the opportunity from a marketing and sales aspect? And the Microsoft storefronts are the perfect way to do that. Making sure that your product is visible and is transactable from our marketplace is key. It's providing a whole new sales and marketing arm you traditionally don't have. So I would definitely take a look at some of those storefront opportunities, and what does that look like for you as well.
So marketplace sounds like something that's advantageous. I know at Brainstorm, we are now going into that. It's been a fantastic experience. So what else besides the marketplace should we be aware of?
I think the other opportunity, just in regard to the different new solutions that you could be building off of as well, is always appealing to Microsoft. So we have Copilot coming, we have Azure AI services, we have all these different new opportunities on how you can continue to differentiate and build product off of our platform. I think that those are great opportunities as well. So making sure that you're taking advantage of all of the investments that we're making on our technology and building them into your product, that's the next biggest opportunity as well. Customers are going to be investing a lot when it comes to a Copilot perspective and what they're doing from an Azure perspective. And you want to help them realize that value. And in order to do that, as long as your product is compatible with that, and you're building features that are going to make that experience even better for them, that's going to be appealing to those customers. So definitely making sure that you're on the forefront of everything that we're investing in is a great opportunity as well.
It almost sounds like I always hear you say this. You always say the word monetization, and that's awesome. Because, I mean, what person doesn't want to hear that word, right? And it seems like there's almost like two aspects of it. One, if I have an application that has it can bolt on, or it can assist or enhance what I'm currently doing with my Microsoft technology. But then you're always talking a little bit about services. Like, is there a human aspect where people can come in and do some consulting about, hey, how do I get this set up correctly?
100%.
It seems like there's two sides to it always, applications and services. Is that what the best partners are doing? What are the partners that are teaming up well with Microsoft? What are they doing?
I think one, and not even just partnering best with Microsoft, but building out what their partner network is going to look like and what's going to increase their customer reach also. So one, I love the simplicity of easy to deploy applications. I love that. But where is there potential opportunity that we're surfacing up for SIs to also monetize off of those applications as well? And it could be as simple as, what does a governance strategy look like? How are they going in and potentially doing a workshop across different business process owners? Not only have that services opportunity around a workshop, but then also to how are they helping customers understand and realize value out of that application too that can be expanded. Um, so I completely think that from an ISV perspective, you should be opening up and building out what your SI ecosystem looks like and really paint the picture on where the opportunity is for them there. This is not only going to allow them to monetize off of the opportunity that you have, but then also allow you to monetize off of that partnership as they then go and recommend your product to future customers as well. So I think that it really goes hand in hand really nicely. And partners that sort of have those types of networks, and when they work with Microsoft, allows us to understand that you have a well-rounded ecosystem, that you have a well-rounded go-to-market plan for your customers. You have a well-rounded opportunity for us to help invest in that opportunity, into that engagement as well, whether it be from eSIF, whether it be from rebates, whatever those components could look like. And we really love those partnerships that we can seamlessly plug you into a customer and know that they're going to be taken care of end to end. So that if there's an issue with deployment, we have a backstop. If there's an issue with adoption, we have a backstop. There's always this opportunity where we can ensure a customer is going to be happy. You're using our products, and we're allowing them to maximize their investment there. So yeah, those would be that's my recommendation on that. That's that.
Well, Randy, this has been fantastic, and like we mentioned to the audience, we have 6 different webinars that we've been doing. We've taken it from all different angles. We've had TechSmith be on with one of the webinar series to help you understand how to create more engaging content when it comes to education and learning. Like, how do I do that? We had Smartsheet talking about value realization. We had Andrea from PepsiCo talk from a customer point of view. If you're the customer success person and you're trying to get your POC to be more engaged, we have a webinar around that. We have one that's around analytics. And now we had one around partnerships. And what we're trying to surround you with as a customer success unit is to say, how do I help my customers realize that value? How do I get them to see a bigger vision of how they could use my application in different ways? And how do I keep that high retention? But more importantly, how do I keep customer success happy? Meaning the customer themselves. Randy, thank you for joining us. This was another great puzzle piece to drawing out this crazy environment that we're in and trying to help our customers utilize more of the applications that we provide to them and the value that we give to them. Randy, thank you again for joining us. This has been a pleasure. Great value adds all over. And again, reach out to Randy on LinkedIn or myself if you have further comments or questions. But thank you, Randy, for joining us today.
Thank you. I didn't even tell any bad jokes.
You didn't.
Not once.
We'll save that for the next time.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
And that's a wrap for this week's session. We hope you learned something valuable today and that you'll continue along with us in this series. As a reminder, the Sustained Success series runs weekly on Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern through November 8th. Head over to the Sustained Success series page to register for additional sessions. And in case you missed it, we're giving away a Nintendo Switch to a lucky series participant. You can automatically enter the raffle by attending sessions. Each session you attend is an entry in the raffle. Also, join us next week as we hear from Troy Stein, VP of Customer Advocacy at TechSmith. Thank you for attending today, and we really look forward to seeing you next week.